Okay, so let's just get right into it. Imagine this. You survive 30 days in the wild with your ex for a massive cash prize, only to have every single dollar snatched away in the final seconds. Well, that is exactly what happened in one of the most ruthless reality show finales ever. A wild story of revenge, shattered alliances, and a truly epic betrayal.
And we're not talking about a little bit of money here. The prize on the line was $300,000, a life-changing amount of cash. But in the end, only one person walked away with all of it, leaving the other with absolutely nothing.
Those were the last words spoken by Abi right before the hammer came down. And with that one simple sentence, a revenge plot that had been simmering for weeks came to this shocking and, frankly, completely unexpected conclusion. The key players here? A guy named Grant, his ex-girlfriend Ashley, and another ex, Abi, who somehow ended up holding all the cards.
So, that's the big question we're unpacking today. How did a revenge plot, which seemed like a sure thing, just completely fall apart at the last minute? And how in the world did one player manage to flip the entire game on its head and walk away with everything? All right, let's rewind and break down exactly how this heist went down.
So it all started with this pretty simple, kind of crazy premise. Grant, a guy who famously cheated on his girlfriend Ashley on national TV, gets stranded in the wilderness with not one, but 5 of his ex-girlfriends. The goal? Survive 30 days to split a huge cash prize. But, of course, there was a secret twist.
And here is the secret weapon. From day one, the women knew something that Grant had no clue about. The last woman standing had the power to take every single dollar for herself. So this was never just a survival game. It was a setup for the ultimate payback.
Ashley, the ex-Grant, had wronged so publicly, she laid out the mission statement herself. The plan was simple. It was unified. All the exes would work together to make sure she was the last one standing. Why? So she could get her revenge and take the money that Grant thought he was about to win.
So the pact was made. It was supposed to be a united front against a common enemy. The stage was all set for a pretty straightforward story of a cheater getting what he deserves. But, you know, in a higher-pressure game like this, even the most solid plans have a way of falling apart.
And pretty soon, the cracks in that alliance started to show. It all began with this bizarre psychological demand from Grant. Since he had the power to eliminate the women one by one, he decided to use it to his advantage in a really weird way.
Yep, that was Grant's ultimatum to Ashley. For her to stay in the game, she had to actually say out loud that they were equally imperfect, basically putting his public cheating on the same level as her being mad about it. This became a huge problem.
And that demand really was the breaking point. Ashley just flat out refused. She felt like it was a total violation of her integrity. And at the exact same time, another ex, Abby, started feeling like she was just a pawn in Ashley's big revenge fantasy, and that no one was looking out for her potential winnings. So what this all boils down to is this. What started as a team effort for some collective revenge was now completely splintering. Personal pride and individual greed were turning out to be way stronger forces than a shared desire for vengeance. The original plan was officially dead in the water.
So as that old alliance was dying, a brand new one was starting to form. And just as this whole power dynamic was shifting, the stakes of the game suddenly got a whole lot higher.
See, the prize wasn't always $300,000. It started at $250,000. But on day 20, the remaining contestants absolutely nailed a team crossbow challenge, and that added another $50,000 to the pot. All of a sudden, the final decision was for a massive $300K.
And this is where Abi made her big move. Seeing the original plan fail and feeling like she'd been used, she made a very calculated pivot. She went straight to Grant and promised him that if he took her to the final 2, she would not use the secret power to steal the money. She was now playing for one person and one person only, herself.
So Grant took the bait. He got rid of Ashley and took Abi to the final 2, believing her promise. But he wasn't 100% convinced. And in a final, desperate attempt to lock down his half of the money, he made a move that would backfire in the most spectacular way you can imagine.
Okay, let's just walk through this fatal error. His goal was simple: guarantee Abby splits the money. His tactic? He brought out a Bible and pressured her to swear on it that she wouldn't steal. But here's the thing, Abby didn't see this as a moment of faith. She saw it as pure, blatant manipulation. And instead of securing her loyalty, it did the exact opposite. It cemented her decision to betray him. And this quote from Avi just perfectly captures her mindset. She felt like the whole sacredness of that oath was totally destroyed because it wasn't her choice. It was forced on her. Grant thought he was creating this unbreakable bond, but what he was actually doing was handing her the moral justification for what she was about to do next.
Which brings us to the end game. And in a perfect, beautiful twist of irony, Abby didn't even need to come up with a reason to betray Grant. He had already given her one himself, all wrapped up in his own personal philosophy.
This was Grant's mantra through the whole game. He used this line over and over again to justify his own selfish decisions, to rationalize why he had to get rid of people and always put himself first. He truly believed he didn't owe anyone a single thing, especially not his exes.
And that's the kicker, isn't it? By trying to control everyone around him, Grant accidentally handed Abby the perfect script for his own downfall. He gave her the exact words she needed to justify turning on him.
Think about it. Grant used that philosophy to get himself to the end, thinking it was a sign of his own strength. But Abby, she just picked it up at the very last second and used his exact logic to put herself first and take every single penny. It was a masterclass in turning an opponent's weapon against them.
And the final result for Grant? A big fat 0. After 30 days of manipulation and building his precious shelter, he walked away with absolutely nothing. A brutal, but let's be honest, a perfectly poetic end to his game.
So it leaves us with this fascinating question, right? In a game of pure manipulation, is there any move more powerful than just absorbing your opponent's own logic and using it to beat them? It's a really compelling look at the psychology of strategy, and in this case, it was a $300,000 lesson.